1, 2, 3, 4.
Napier is the Art Deco capital of the world, and it's because there was an earthquake and it was rebuilt, and therefore there was rather more of it all happening at the same time.
Into the 50s and 60s, we rather forgot about it as a community. And it was in the early 80s an international expert in such things arrived in town, grabbed a few people by the ear, marched them around town and said, "You don't really understand what it is you've got here." So the first free public guided walk was formed. They did the research, truck and a megaphone were the tools used, expected a few hundred people, and instead of a few hundred turning up, it was about 11 or 1300 people turned up on that day. So a few people who were interested in Art Deco as a style and as an architectural form got together and said, well, maybe there is an interest.
And there was an event where you could use your own bike and go on a tour of Art Deco around people's houses and also around the town. And I fell in love with the Art Deco architecture and everything.
In 1985, the Art Deco Trust was formed.
So I work with the Art Deco Weekend all year. It's a huge event. There's 60 different events to be organised. This is my largest commitment by far, and I must say the most fun.
And all that jazz. I know the rules, but these are all my style. She's gonna shake it till the card is break. And all that jazz.
She's got a cigarette that looks like me tomorrow morning. It's a bit shrunk.
And there'll be no smoking signs everywhere, of course.
All that jazz. Good evening, Napier.
All of the locals share the earthquake and the rebuild history, and we're all proud of how it has become the hallmark of the city.
You can't get away from it. It's here, and that's it. And for the town, it's brought a lot of money into the town, and it is good for the town. The town gets great exposure from this, worldwide exposure.
We have in Switzerland no sea, and so it's very special. It's like holiday.
The only place in the world, I think, where this kind of city exists. I don't think there's anywhere else where it's like it.
Everything is done in very good taste. I was very surprised. The beautiful cars, the costumes, and you see that people are enjoying it and really getting into it. So I think it's absolutely fascinating.
Everybody just seems to pitch in. Yeah, just have a ball, enjoy it.
We have a fleet of about 120 volunteers, both inside the Art Deco Trust and in other community organisations, to coordinate and to get to be working to the same end. And we call on them to do a myriad of things. They'll all be doing something over Art Deco Weekend. Every event we have hosts at, which are volunteers from the Trust. Their job is just to welcome, greet and make sure the whole event runs smoothly. So they're flat out over Art Deco Weekend, and they're the ones who actually keep us afloat.
I work for the City Council. I'm in charge of all their road closures. I just make sure everything goes safely, there's no one to run over, and sprinters cars are not basically right of way.
Please do not stand in the roadway. Please do not cross the road while the cars are moving.
It's bad, eh, bro? Motor man!
I reckon these cars are pretty bad. It's pretty cool. Our year Napier's got a good reputation of all this. Like, we've got like heaps of people here that come here from like all around the world just to see us, and yeah, I reckon it's great.
Would you like to do a little turn? Can everybody do a little turn again? That's it. Oh, jolly good. Do a little turn. Oh, that's beautiful. What an amazing display they do. We love to get young people involved in Art Deco, of course, because a lot of us oldies are slipping away fast indeed. And it's nice to see a younger generation coming along.
There will be a prize for the winning team overall over both games, and to make it even, we then will draw 2 cards out of the hat, and they'll pick up second and third prize. So it's a fun day. It's not meant to be too serious, and we just keep it, you know, low key like that.
$2.30. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't think after last year you'd invite me again, actually. I seem to remember we got into discussions about the size of cars and things, whatever. I did bring the straight 8 again. To the chap in the blazer over there was quite delighted that I brought the straight 8 along. Indeed. Not you, sir. I'm not listening to you. But it's always a pleasure to be here. What a jolly lot you are. Gosh, there's something left for me when I get home. You know what I mean?
He is the icon, isn't he? He really is. And he plays the part just so well.
And he puts that sort of upper-class, silly-ass fop type style into the whole Art Deco. He actually personalises the style. He'll pop up round a corner and, what ho, chaps?
Hello, chap. How are you? Awfully nice to see you. How are you?
And the visitors from overseas particularly love to meet him.
Over the years, I've come to realise what an incredible asset he is to the city, and to actually really admire the work that he does, and it's ceaseless, and he is very good at it.
So I came to New Zealand in early 1982, February 1982, so just 22 years ago, and I came, would you believe, as an accountant. So this is a completely different role, sort of a quantum leap from accountant to actor to Bertie. And so, but I think everybody, if they're very, very lucky, and I consider myself to be so, finds their little niche in life, and somehow this is mine.
What a wonderful array of clothing this year. You've exceeded yourselves. It was absolutely spiffing. Except I was rather concerned at the chap, there he is, the chap, beautiful blazer, sir, but did you know that's the East Cheam ladies lacrosse team?
Last year we didn't have so many dressed up. This year, just about without exception, they're all dressed, and this is where Art Deco has just got stronger and stronger.
It's interesting, there are 2 groups at the Art Deco weekend. There are those who dress up and do it, and those who come to watch them doing it. At the Gatsby picnic, when the lawn is full of people, all in their costume with all their equipment, having their afternoon teas, out on the footpath there's an endless string of people in their civvies walking up and down looking. It's almost like a zoo in some ways. But every year there's a crossover from those who watch to those who do, because they look at it and they say, doesn't look too hard. And Grandma's got one of those triple stacker plates, and we could get that gramophone from so-and-so's place, and you've got a suit, all you need is braces and a bow tie to go with it, and slowly it builds, and you can hear people walking along saying, well, next year I'm going to do that and that and that and that. So slowly, bit by bit, they're crossing the fence and joining us on the lawn. There is a bond, and those who do Art Deco share stories, share clothing. You become a collector. I understand now why people collect antiques and why people collect other things like that. Once you start, it gets you. It's a passion.
On our first visit down here, I saw Aubrey for sale in the Napier Antique Centre. And I must admit, after having a few glasses of wine, decided to rush back and purchase him. And we've had him ever since. We absolutely love him. Don't know his history, but believe he'd be 50 or 60 years old, I would say. This, we don't know for sure. Apparently he was owned by somebody in Napier for about 12 years prior to us getting a hold of him.
Fantastic. Yes.
My antique business here specialises in 20th century design. So we do have quite a lot of deco. We also concentrate on well-designed pieces from whatever period. They reach a mark of good design, then they're still appreciated. People still like them, people still react to them. The same as they did, 50, 60, 70 years ago. The lamp is an English Art Deco, a nice original Art Deco light. Fun with the mixed medium in it, of chrome and perspex and vitrolite. Just speaks of the time, speaks of being modern and all the rest of it.
Trail quite extensively recently because I think the furs are wonderful. The fact that they call me Jenny Fur Fur now. It's so lush and beautiful, and it's not affecting the animal kingdom selling these because they've been dead 50 or 60 years. Modified fox with 2 tails and 1 head. I bought these from an elderly lady in her 80s, and she wore them in Britain during the Second World War, and they're absolutely gorgeous.
We scour far and wide for the good ideas because it has to have that 1920s, 1930s feel to it. Beyond that, it's the creativity of making an event that's different, and it is a great experience for those taking part in the weekend.
We only get 2 potatoes a month and 1 lump of coal at Christmas, so it's kind of tough at this time of the year, but we do survive, and if it wasn't for soup kitchens, well, we just wouldn't manage it all. I brought my own apron today and my tea towel because I'd like to be prepared, and I'm just ever so lucky that Madam's generous enough to let you have your old fur coat with 1 sleeve gone.
Well, this is the Depression dinner. This is where everybody's supposed to dress down to get the feeling of the 1930s. We have a soup kitchen here, and then we make our way en masse down to Clive Square, where we have a sumptuous meal of potatoes and stew.
Mags up! Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. Why do
nobody else knows the second line?
In your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. Hello, darling. Hey, Rob.
while we are celebrating the style of the 1920s and 1930s, and we dance and eat and drink and party and picnic and dress up in costume and really thoroughly enjoy that, there are several occasions during the weekend which do reflect the earthquake, and it's quite remarkable the feeling that happens at them. One is the installation of the Veronica Bell on the Sunday afternoon. Now, the Veronica Bell came from the HMS Veronica, a Royal Navy ship that was in port at the time, and the sailors were a critical part of the rescue effort through the early hours after the earthquake. But also on Art Deco Weekend on the Sunday we install it, and it is rung. There are a few prayers and the mayor speaks, and it's interesting, in amongst all this party atmosphere, for the 15 minutes it takes us to install the bell and say those prayers, there's a very strong deep hush over that crowd. They're still in their party clothes and the party's scheduled to go on all around us, but there's this quiet moment in the middle of the weekend when people just stop and remember.
Rather than sort of being a reminder of the earthquake, it's really much more a celebration of the rebirth of the city and the Art Deco that came out of that.
We shall never be discouraged. Take it to the Lord in prayer.
If Art Deco was only preserving buildings, I would suggest a weekend like this wouldn't be nearly as vibrant and as much fun as it is. But it is not just about preservation and highlighting the style and era, it is also about enjoying. And how can you enjoy God without enjoying life, enjoying worship, enjoying people, enjoying the community, enjoying crafts, children, life? Life itself is meant to be enjoyed.
If the guys who had all that optimism and did all that hard work in 1931-32 to rebuild this wonderful city that we've got were alive today, they do exactly what we were doing, which is have a bloody good time with it.
We love the Art Deco scene, and we just really enjoyed ourselves here this weekend, and thank you to everybody who puts it on. It's such a marvellous event, a marvellous weekend, and everybody's so friendly and welcoming. It's just a pleasure to be here.
It's a really nice place. I love it. It's beautiful, and even now it's more because now you feel the heart. Yeah.
Once you're dressed up, you disappear back in time for 2 or 3 days, and you literally hit Sunday night, go to the last event and head home, and the next morning you wonder if it actually really happened, because everybody's gone. Most of the vintage cars have gone, the planes have gone, the lawns on the Marine Parade, there's nobody left, there's not even some rubbish left after the event. And you stand there blinking thinking, that was really surreal. And it's actually a lovely, tired feeling, that one. You've got to experience it to believe it.
Wanna go way down south in Birmingham, I mean south in Alabama, to no place where people go to dance and dine away. They all drive